Hello and welcome, dear viewers, to a brand new episode of your show, The Untold. My name is Daij Al-Hotari. I'm here with my colleague Fatma Al-Aoudi. How are we doing today?
We're doing great, Dej. Thank you very much. Today we have a special guest. He's Dr. Ahmad Al-Mazeedi, but he's not going to talk to us about medicine. He's going to inform us about the world of investment, and this is very exciting, actually.
And interesting as well. So I can't wait to ask him our questions. So stay tuned and we will be back.
Okay, so welcome back. We are here with Dr. Ahmad Al-Mazeedi. Welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Now we're going to start with your journey on transitioning from practicing medicine into creating content about financial education. We know that you're still a full-time doctor,
Yes.
but you also create content on financial education. Please tell us about that.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for your question. So I studied in Cardiff University in the United Kingdom, and I graduated back in 2021. I'm currently a family resident. I'm with the Kuwaiti board. It's a 5-year program, and I'm still in my first year, so it's still a long way to go.
Long
As
way
you guys
to
know, with doctors, we never stop studying. But the reason why I got so interested in personal finance is because I had to handle my own finances when I was a student in the UK. Because, when you get the student allowance, I got to think about paying rent, paying my bills, handling my groceries, and paying for my leisure as well. So it was a lot of responsibility to take on from an early age, well, relatively early age compared to most people. And I kind of had to learn about personal finance management because it was going to affect my quality of life for the 6 years that I was studying there. So because I'm a little bit OCD, I kind of had to learn everything about each strategy regarding personal finance and then adapt that to what worked for me. And the idea was really never to teach about it. I enjoyed learning about it. But I got married early on as well when I was 21. And I had to do a lot of planning with my wife. So I got into investing as well because we had a lot of long-term goals that we wanted to accomplish that we couldn't just wing it. We had to plan it accurately. And that drove me into learning even more. And the reason why I started the channel, because I saw the effect that it had on friends and family that I was passing on the information to. They were very happy. They would tell me that they feel much more comfortable and much happier with their finances.
Would be learning something new after all, and it's very important.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we handle money on a day-to-day basis, but we learn nothing about it in school. We kind of rely on passive information that we get sometimes from our family if we're lucky.
That's right.
And sometimes that advice could be good and sometimes it could be bad. Not a fault of their own. It's just what they learned themselves, So I thought that I wanted to present evidence-based advice that is catered to the Gulf region. So not general advice that you just read from a book catered towards the United States audience. I wanted it to be catered towards people here as well.
That's beautiful because we need that. We don't have taxes here, and we don't have a 401k, and we don't. So whenever we read about these financial books that are catered to the United States citizens, a big chunk of it does not apply to Kuwaiti laws, let's say, of finance. Yeah.
Absolutely agreed. Yes. So the challenge was how can I take all of that information
And
some
tailor
of which
it.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, and kind of adjust it in a way that is presentable and useful to my audience. And I hope that I've succeeded, or I'm on my way to doing that.
Right. So regarding your experience, what helped you to develop the personal financial management
Right.
investment?
Right. So, reading a lot of personal finance management books, I listen to a lot of lectures, expert testimonials, and I also read the literature. Something that I think medicine certainly helped me with was that you set your mind in a way that anything you do, anything I do in the clinic has to be evidence based. Like if I treat you as my patient, I have to explain to you why the medicine I'm giving you is the best medicine, right? I can't just give it to you. Well, you can trust me, obviously, but if you ask me the question, I have to be able to answer, right? So when you're in that mindset about learning about any topic, you dig deep. You want to find evidence for each personal finance management technique and each investing strategy, and then seeing what has worked best in the past, and then base that on the present situation to present the best evidence to the audience that I can possibly that I can possibly do.
Okay, so based on that, Dr. Ahmed, what do you think? Why do you think, or why do you believe it's crucial to educate people about financial literacy or managing their finances effectively?
Great question. We touched upon that in a previous question, that we handle money on a daily basis, and money, unfortunately, is a cause of stress for a lot of people. I guess probably more so in the States than it is here, but a lot of people here also struggle with finances. They have a lot of goals that they want to achieve, but they feel constrained. They feel constrained either by income, by spending habits, or otherwise other things that they could improve with their finances. And it's related directly to well-being. Studies have shown that people are happier when they manage their money in a better way. So I wanted to help people and empower them for them to take control of their own finances so that they can create a better life for themselves and for their families as well.
So are you saying that money can, make you happy?
So
Money can't buy happiness.
buy
yeah,
happiness.
yeah, that's what you wanted to throw at me. Yes, absolutely.
I
do
agree.
believe
I
it.
mean, I agree. Let's say, we're not talking about cars or houses or, luxury goods. We're talking about, God forbid, one of your family members has a condition and you have to pay for their treatment. And let's say, you cannot get into the program where they send the patient abroad to actually treat them, and you actually have to start paying for their treatment. Let's say you do not have that money. You're not going to be able to help them.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
let's
sure
say
you'll feel
your niece
miserable.
or nephew, they're going to a reputable college, and you're going to pay for their tuition. That is the kind of happiness I'm talking about. Helping the people you love, helping your wife or your husband, helping your children, get better education, better life experience, travel even more, get to, reputable colleges or universities. So money brings happiness. It's not about luxury or buying this bag or that shoes or, those pairs of shoes or something. So that's what I believe money brings happiness on a bigger scope.
Yeah, I think you phrased that beautifully. I have nothing to add to that. And I was actually just going to throw the question back at you and ask you the flip side. Do you think that a lack of money brings sadness? Do you think that if you don't have money to buy basic needs, or to send your kids to college, or to buy the essentials for a decent life, would that make you happy? I'm sure it won't. I'm sure you'd feel completely the opposite. So for sure, money can buy happiness, it buys stability, it buys security. And if you have enough of it, then you don't have to worry about it. And that's definitely a positive.
Yes, and the latest video game, Dej.
No, of course, yes. Luxury is important. I don't think that. I do believe that what you stated was the first things that people should think about when they think about financial security. But being able to buy what makes you happy, either being a car or a watch or video games, if you're into that,
All right.
I'm into that as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. Those things are also definitely a factor that shouldn't be ignored.
I agree. Now, when we talked about gold, when we first started, before we started shooting, actually, you said, Fatma, you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say about gold.
No.
And Dej said,
I was
why is
interested.
that?
Yeah, why?
Why was that?
Right.
And I know we're gonna come up to that question, but I'm so eager to learn. I'm
You
so
want-
eager
you wanna
to
jump
learn.
into the
Yes,
deep end
I'm so
straight
sorry
away.
for our producer. He put the questions for us in a consequence,
Right.
in a sequence.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So about gold, do you own gold?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you do own gold. That's why that's why you're not gonna like what I say about it. Do you own gold, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you too. Okay. Well,
That's why I was interested.
okay. Now I'm
You
nervous.
grabbed my attention all the way.
No, but we're here to learn.
To learn.
We know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Okay, so let me ask you first before answering the question. H, let's start with you. Why do you invest in gold?
Because it's safe. That's what they at least say.
Okay, so what does safe mean to you? What do you define as a safe investment versus a risky investment?
There's always a plan B, I would say. That's the
Okay.
answer to it. So you're always safe. I mean, no matter what happens, this is a safer option than any other investment.
Okay, so you think that it's a safer investment compared to everything else. So what about you,
Oh,
Fatima?
it's tried and true, and I come from a line of women who have believed in gold. However, I've seen it with my own eyes. When I got a bonus of 700 KD, I bought a bullion, a gold bullion, and after COVID, I sold that bullion for 1,000 something when I needed it.
Okay,
Now, if I put it anywhere else, it has to be a longer term. I understand for a bigger comeback of
bigger
it,
returns,
right?
yes.
Yes. And for gold, it makes me. I think it's personal for me. It makes me not touch it, and not go after it,
Right.
because once this gold is in my safe in my room, I cannot just go and spend it. I have to take it, go to the store,
Yeah,
sell
sell
it,
it.
check out the prices. It's a lengthy process that makes me think this bullion, this piece of gold will not be sold until I need it. And so I started buying these pieces of gold, not just the jewelry part, also the lira, yeah. So also the 24 karat ones. Um, Once it made my life easier, then we started going for bigger. We started going for half kilo and maybe 1 kilo, but on separate different bullions.
Yeah.
And the gold bars, they get appreciated the more you wait on them. Let's say 5 years difference. Right now, the gold price or for today is way higher
Way higher,
than
yes.
maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
So if I bought something and I did for 600, I can sell it now for more than 8 or 900. For me, as a small, person in this investment world, it worked for me. But I want to know, what am I doing wrong, or what is wrong with this
I'm with you.
strategy?
So there isn't anything wrong with that strategy. It honestly just depends on what you want to achieve and what other options are available to you.
Okay.
So let's start with point number one that we raised, that gold is safe. So safety in investment can be defined by two things. What is the risk of my investment going to zero? So what is the risk of total loss? So that's absent in gold. So with gold, you're not risking losing all of your money.
Right.
The other risk is, how much does the price move? Right? What are the fluctuations of the price year over year? Does the price stay relatively the same and slowly go up over time, or does it fluctuate quite aggressively? That's the other measure of risk. So if we compare gold and stocks, which I guess traditionally would be considered the riskier investment, so stocks and companies, if we look at the past 50 years, gold has been exactly
Yeah, for the
as
long run.
as volatile as stocks, but has delivered low returns.
Right.
So if we're going just by safety, in this case, gold isn't any safer than stocks over the long term. It is just as volatile as stocks, but stocks deliver better returns. Right now, when I talk about stocks, I'm not talking about going and picking out one company. I'm talking about buying a lot of companies so that you diversify your risk.
The portfolio that you're investing in.
The portfolio, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So when you want to invest in stocks, you can't just go and pick out one company.
No, it has
You have
to
to
be
buy a lot of
multiple
companies
diverse-
because
But you have to do your own research and all of that things, and But
Well,
when it
you
comes
can-
to gold, you
Well,
just
we have Dr. Ahmed
well,
here.
yeah. So let me simplify the process down a little bit more than what is advertised.
Okay.
Buying a basket of stocks is not as complicated as people think. There are a lot of tools which can help people get into the stock market at lower prices than ever before,
Right.
and in an easy way that they own a basket. And it's in a tool called ETFs. So ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund. So what is an exchange traded fund? A company would go out and they would buy 500 companies. This is, I'm using the example of one particular ETF. So they would go out and they would buy 500 companies from the United States. And then they would offer you a basket of those companies. You could put your money into that basket, and that's it. You're done. You've invested in 500 companies. You've diversified your risk, and you are exposed to the positive returns of the market over a long period of time. So my criticism of gold when you talk about safety is that it is as volatile as stocks. So you might as well take the risk with stocks because you are taking the same risk with gold over a long period of time. And gold, maybe you haven't thought about this. Maybe it's not a real concern for you, but you have to store the gold somewhere, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Either in a safe
safe
outside
place,
of your home or a safe inside your home. If it's outside your home, you have to pay an annual commission to run that safe or to keep that safe in your ownership.
That's correct.
If it's in your own house, then you're risking getting stolen.
Of course.
So and that's an added worry. But when you buy stocks, you have a certificate that you own those stocks. That's never going to go away. That's set in stone.
I think it's also, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, of
I
course,
think
go
it's
ahead.
also, gold is tangible, and the stocks, we cannot see. Maybe it's psychological, is it?
I think it is because do you see Apple? Do you see the phone that you're
yeah,
using?
yeah.
That's a product, that's a tangible product, and that product represents the value of the company.
Right.
The value that the company generates from the phone is what the stock represents. It
Okay.
represents their sales. So yes, I guess if you look at it from one end, from one perspective, stocks mean ownership. So they are abstract in that sense, but they do represent real companies which produce real products. And I
Okay.
think that's another angle from looking at it that I think would be helpful for people to kind of get over the fear of thinking about stocks.
We have a lot of questions, but for now, let's take a quick break and get back to you, dear viewers.
Sure.
All right, and we are back with Dr. ALMazeedi. Now, there's this question I have. Now, how can someone overcome the fear with, investing?
Right. So I guess your question is that a lot of people see investing as a risky endeavor to undertake. They're afraid of losing their money, which is understandable. They hear a lot of stories in our society. We have Souk al-Manakh, which is the big crash that happened back in 1982.
Yes.
But that was because people were speculating. Those were not investors. Those were people who were trying to make a quick buck, and that's why that endeavor failed quite tremendously. But if we look at it from an objective view, right? Why are people afraid? It's because they don't know, right?
That's actually the answer, yes.
I think that if people learn just the basics about investing and how it can benefit their saving strategies and help them achieve their financial goals over a long period of time, then I'm sure that they will get over the fear. And that's, I guess, what I'm trying to do with my platform. I'm trying to demystify investing. Investing isn't really all that complicated. We talked about ETFs. There are very easy, foolproof ways of investing that are available to all individuals that I think are worth highlighting.
Okay, so do you think, or do you believe everyone should invest, and why?
So I do believe that it depends on your personality. It depends on your risk tolerance, how much risk you're willing to take, and how much money you have. Because some people can barely cover the necessities, and that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I do believe that investing can help improve a lot of people's lives, but it definitely is on a case-by-case basis.
All right. So, and with the rise of the price of gold, as we mentioned, and the popularity of cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin, for instance, how do you evaluate their investment potential?
Okay, so we already talked about gold, and I said that it's as volatile as stocks. So over the long term, I do believe stocks are the better option for most people, as long as they have the basic knowledge they need about stocks. But about the cryptocurrency part, which I think a lot of people would be interested in knowing, let me ask you a question first. What do you know about Bitcoin?
Zero knowledge.
Zero. Fatma, do we have anything?
I mean, I know.
Just the basics.
Yeah, the
I know, yeah,
basics
that's
of, it used to be, I don't know, was it not popular and then it became a trend and it raised its price? Because I saw an article where a guy bought
Yeah, in
a
2012
pizza.
or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yes,
He
it's,
ordered
We all.
pizza for 10 bitcoins or something like that.
I'm
And
sure it
now
was way
he's.
more than 10 bitcoins.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and now he was talking about regretting it, and now it's reached what, 10,000 or 100,000? Is it
66,500,
66?
but you know who's
Yeah.
keeping track? No, I'm joking.
So so is it trendy because people are starting to talk about it, or is it actually dependable? Like you depend on it?
Right. Let's explain what it is first,
Okay.
because I think that we need to get the base right. So Bitcoin is a program. It's a program that allows people to transfer money from one user of the network to another user of the network. And the currency that is used within that network is Bitcoin. That's the coin that someone would invest in if they were to buy Bitcoin. They would invest in the coin that people use in that network. Now, what makes it special? What makes it different from banks, for example? Why wouldn't I just use a bank? It's because it's decentralized. So no one has to be the middleman in confirming that transaction. The bank does not need to approve that transaction between those two people. People approve that transaction.
That's
The
interesting.
users themselves are the ones who are securing the network. And people do Bitcoin mining, if you've heard of
Yes,
that.
yeah, they do Bitcoin mining, and is it legal?
So
It's not.
so it is legal in some places and illegal in others. I think China made it legal. Maybe it was last year or a couple of years ago. Usually, countries would want to make it illegal because they don't want competition with the local currency,
course.
or if they don't want the miners to use up too much electricity because you have
Yeah,
to use big
that's a lot of it,
computers
yeah.
to secure the network. But I think the appeal is that it's a different way of thinking about money. It's digital gold, some people think of, because there are only 21 million bitcoins that will ever come to existence. So the fact that it's limited in supply makes it valuable in of itself. And the utility of being able to transfer money between people in a decentralized way also makes it appealing. But I think most people probably pay attention because the price goes up and down like a yo-yo.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
right. But it's like power to the people, no middleman.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's also something intriguing.
Yeah, I do need to add a caveat though. It's an extremely speculative investment. It's quite risky because people don't know the exact value of it just yet. So I would advise heavy research before someone goes into that,
Into
as
that.
opposed to stocks where you just learn the basics. You need to learn about a lot about crypto before going into it.
Okay, so this takes us to our next question. Is dollar cost averaging a strategy that you recommend for investors, and why? What is dollar cost strategy?
So, dollar cost averaging is taking a fixed amount of money. So, for example, taking out 100 KD out of your salary per month and then investing it into something on a regular basis, regardless of where the price is. Whether the price is up or down, you've decided that you're going to invest 100 KD every month. I do believe that dollar cost averaging is useful in most cases, but it's one of the most misrepresented topics in finance because what people do, they would have 10,000 KD in cash and they would think to themselves, oh, I don't want to buy now because what if the prices go down? I could buy at a better price. So they would wait. They would say, I'm going to dollar cost average my 10,000 KD in $1,000 KD intervals over 10 months.
Okay.
That is not the right way to dollar cost average. If you have money ready and available right now, you should invest all of it. Dollar cost averaging is for people who don't have the cash ready on hand.
Like a big chunk or a big lump sum. Or
Exactly. So lump sum, I like the way that you use that term. So lump sum beats dollar cost averaging 66% of the time because 66% of the years are positive years for stocks
Okay.
and 33% of the years are negative. So you're just way more likely to make money if you just lump sum your amount in. But Some people find psychological benefit that they don't want to commit all of their money all at once.
For the fear of risk.
So, yeah, for the fear of risk, absolutely. So they would benefit somehow in a psychological way from dollar cost averaging, even though it's not the optimal way of investing.
Wow. Okay, so nicely put. I really did not think
He
of
made
that.
it simpler for us,
Yes.
for all of us.
Yeah, and
this
this is why we got Dr. Ahmed ALMazeedi. Thank you very much, our producer.
Yeah, we
Aziz.
appreciate that,
Yeah.
and we wish for more time, definitely. So
Absolutely.
now let's talk about your thoughts on, I would say, investing on behalf of kids or children.
That's an amazing question. I think it's probably the thing that I'm trying to highlight the most with my platform, Naireen, is that I want parents or newlywed couples, even if they don't have children yet, to think about what they can do for their children if they started investing for them from the age of 0, because they have what we don't, right? They have time. They have way more time than we do because they're never going to need money of their own until they're maybe like 24 or 25. So you have a very long time that you can build up their investments in. And that, because it's a long period of time, it's safe because you're going to ride all the fluctuations of the markets and ride all the way to the end. And also it maximizes their gains, right? It maximizes
True.
their returns because it's over a long period
True.
of time.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess the main reason why I want to do that for my own son is for something I missed when I wanted to choose my profession. I had to think of something that I kind of liked, but also made money, right? I couldn't just do something that I liked. I love playing chess. I can't become a chess teacher, that doesn't pay the bills. So I didn't really have much choice but to become a doctor. I could have become an engineer, but I hate physics. But not
We
about
share that, yes.
There we go. Yes. So if someone had enough money not to worry about money, they could do anything they wanted. So I don't want to give my son enough money for him to do nothing, but I do want him to have the choice to do anything he wants without having to worry about how much money is that going to make.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so that was a good insight into building wealth for new families, small families.
And having a plan is
yes,
a good
and
idea, actually.
It's true. Any words for our audience? Pieces of advice? Any last words?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have 2 words of advice, one for students and one for everyone else. For students, I would say that it's never early to start. It's never too early to start. And if they started learning about personal finance management and investing now, they would be miles ahead of everyone else once they start getting paychecks, because they would have the foundation that they need to manage their finances properly and build a good life for themselves and their families. And for everyone else who might feel like they're drowning in debt or struggling, I would say that it's never too late. And there is always room for improvement. And I think everyone has the opportunity to work on their finances to better themselves. That's what I would say.
Wow,
That's
thank
beautiful.
you so
That's
much.
nice. Thank you so much for being part of this interview, Dr. Ahmed.
Absolutely,
That was
man.
very
Thanks
nice.
for having me.
And of course, I think if we have more time, we definitely have more questions and more to learn from you.
Yeah.
And of course, our dear viewers would love to hear more about.
Got my number, you
Yeah.
can call me whenever
Yes,
you want.
definitely interview number 2. Definitely,
Absolutely.
yes.
I'd
I
be
see
looking
another
forward
one.
to
Yeah.
it.
Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So,
All right, dear viewers. So we will be back. All right, so dear viewers, that's the end of this episode. We learned a lot, Fatma. That was
Yes,
very nice.
we did, and we had more questions, and it showed on our faces that we wanted to ask more. Maybe next time, inshallah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
so we hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks, and see you again in the next one.